quarters as fringe. Are they really genuine about their contention? Should media houses plan to accommodate all 18 candidates in the presidential debates? Is this group capable of giving us the much-touted third force? Now in studio we do have Bwana Ekuru Aukot, party leader, Third Way Alliance, also a presidential candidate on that party's ticket. Also in studio is Dunstan Omari, political analyst, and Brian Mutie, a governance analyst. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Fred.
Bwana Ekuru Aukot, yesterday you convened a meeting in Nairobi with some of these independent candidates and some representatives from these parties considered fringe.
Right.
What exactly was the agenda of that meeting? Of course, after that, you in a media interview that you gave, you talked about the third force. What exactly did you discuss at that meeting?
Well, first of all, let's get facts right. I never talked about a third force. And never was it the speculation that you media people are putting out there that there is another alliance. No. This was just a meeting of friends and ordinary Kenyans who are concerned about the issues that affect Kenya. In fact, in that meeting, what topped the agenda of our discussion is the cost of living today. And we discussed very specific things about, for example, the price of flour, what's happening to our economy. And the idea was, is there something we can do together as Kenyans who are neither in what you guys call as the two-horse race, which of course again is actually a creation of the media.
Isn't that already a giveaway when you're saying you were talking with people to people rather who are away from these two formations? So what is the third one?
No, I mean my party is called Third Way Alliance. And the people I met Miguna, Joe Nyaga came in later, as well as Jirongo, Professor Wainaina, and there are other people. And basically we are just Kenyans who are concerned about the state of affairs of this country. And as participants in the public affairs of this country, we can meet anytime, anywhere, and with anybody. I don't see that as a problem. It should not be interpreted as if people are forming a political alliance. As a matter of fact, we are actually opposed to the idea of alliances because part of the problems, endemic problems in this country, if you look at the root causes of corruption in this country, the demarcation of departments so that people can steal in equal terms, is actually caused by these very, very alliances. The tribal cards that are being played, the mobilization along ethnic lines is caused by alliances. So we were saying, what is it that we can do as ordinary Kenyans about this country's leadership, the issues that concern Kenya. And as I said, top on that agenda was the price of unga, flour.
Why are you not interested, for example, in discussing this same issue with people from either NASA or Jubilee, that you had to come together with people who are not affiliated to these two groupings?
Because there is no difference between Jubilee and NASA. These are political Siamese twins. They are the two sides of the same coin. There's really nothing new that you can actually come out of Jubilee and NASA. We've seen that this is a type of part of the establishment of this country that has actually created the many problems that Kenya is going through today. For example, if you are talking about theft of public funds, which people sanitize called corruption, you can equitably apportion theft of public funds to both camps of NASA and Jubilee, and you don't need to go far. Just pick up time frame of say 10-15 years ago. Who was in government when Goldenberg, Anglo Leasing, Eurobond, Kazi kwa Vijana, Mahindi scandal, NYS, up to the very, very recent ones, Makaburis, the sale of NYS land, the sale of Tokyo embassies and all that. The same people you people are parading, media is parading and calling a two-horse race. And yet you do not even ask, what is the competence and integrity of these people to actually lead Kenya? So we were saying, why is it that Kenya is being paraded as if there's only two people two camps who can actually lead this country? Yet you needed people do not go a step further and say, what are the problems that afflict Kenyans today? The state of the economy of this country, the state of joblessness, the segregation of women and youth. In fact, I wish you guys could go ahead and say, look at the last manifesto of Jubilee government. It promised gender equality. And today as we go into the next election, even women, the Uhuru's cabinet is actually unconstitutional. Nobody is analyzing that and saying, should Kenyans listen to another lie from Jubilee? Should Kenyans listen to another lie from NASA? And yet when Ekuru Aukot and Omari and others meet and say, let's discuss about Kenya, you start calling us the other. And in fact, we agree. But I agree with it. I want to give credit to your narrative. In fact, it's not only a Jubilee and NASA, but it's also a media narrative. There are two horses races. But I want to tell you that we are putting a camel on the race. Not another horse.
So if the camel enters the race, which is really described as a two-horse race, isn't that a third force?
No, why should it be a third force? Just call it a camel. It's a camel. just the way you're saying, there are two horses. So say two horses and there is a camel.
But that's
because you know what in the middle. This country has been in the desert of bad leadership and governance for a long time.
Yes.
We need an animal that can take us into the oasis of good governance.
Yes.
Only a camel can do that, not those horses that have been running.
Okay, for the sake of this debate, then we'll refer to your grouping as the camel. So we have two horses and the camel.
Yes.
But Dastan Omari and Brian Mutie, let me bring you into this conversation. Do you understand the distinction of what Ekuru Aukot is really talking about, that he does not want to be referred to as a third force? Omari, were you, for example, in that meeting? Because Ekuru Aukot seemed to suggest that you've been meeting in terms of discussing those issues.
No. I was not in that meeting. The only thing I will concur is that is a meeting of idealists. That is a meeting of people living in a utopia. People do not understand who their market is. Their market are the voters. Their market are not university students for them to give lectures and write academic papers. The problem is not the people who converge. My good lecturer here, Daktari, will agree with me that the problem has never been about leadership in this nation. The problem has always been the voter. Because who does the voter want to lead him or her? The voter wants a dancer. The voter wants a corrupt person. The voter wants a person who has no strategy to lead. And this group that is here, if indeed voting was restricted to a caucus, they would lead this country. And that is why the camel will be there and the camel will not get to State House. That is the iron of it. When you look at Fred Ndimuli, the other independent candidates, there are two horses, as it is properly put, and the others. There are people who are there either planted by the horses to spoil votes in some regions. There are people who are independent purely because they want that name called that I was a presidential candidate, so that at death they'll be referred to as in the eulogy that he also contested to be the president of this nation. There are people who are there to enter the books of history that they also participated in the presidential debate. So that is the question that I ask myself. Most of these independent candidates, are they contesting to win, or they want their name just to appear at the IBC ballot? And therefore, if they call themselves the camel, camels will not be in the ballot for winning the presidential race. Camels will be there to be had. And it's not a new thing. Worldwide independent candidates are there. In the US you'll find them raising issues at the presidential, and they disappear somewhere. So in my own perspective, Fred, the way I look at these things is that Kenya is developing. This is an agenda that my good Daktari is building. Multi-party democracy from 1963 has started to be realized the other day. The having of the new constitution was a journey. So what they have started is a journey. It will not be realized in 2017.
Yes,
but with the time, they will get their dreams.
Before I bring Mutie, I think I would want Ekuru Aukot to respond to that. This camel that's joining the race, whether independent candidates or candidates from fringe parties, how genuine is your contention, or are you just in the race to prove a point?
Good question. First of all, there is nothing wrong with idealist meeting. As a matter of fact, this country has been bankrupt of ideas and idealists, and I'm actually shocked. Omari, who I have tremendous respect for, and calling himself a governance expert, will actually try to dismiss the idea of ideologues and idealists actually meeting, because you need ideology, you need belief to be able to govern a country. A country is about stewardship, it's about leadership, and that is what this country has lacked. Because to me, the experience of the other people you seem to favor actually lack no ideas. As a matter of fact, let's be brutally honest with each other. If there's one presidential aspirant today who made his intention clear 1.5 years ago, is Ekuru Aukot of Ngamia One. And we announced that long time ago. If there is also one political party in this country that has consistently put an agenda, a key point agenda in this country, is actually Third Way Alliance. The others have not. What I see in political rallies that you people keep on following and calling that news and calling the two-horse race is about contestation, about tuliwashinda, tutawashinda tena, tutafanya nothing. Meanwhile, Kenyans are suffering. So listen, our party is genuine. It is legally registered. It has full registration. It has aspirants now going to about 81. I mean, it should be the intention of every Kenyan to participate in an election, and we cannot dismiss that and say, in fact, because of the failure of leadership for the last 54 years, I would even wish to challenge Omar here to stop being a political analyst, a consultant, perfecting the language of change and reform and governance, and offer himself as an alternative, because we are the people who are actually letting down this country, because we are lamenting, complaining, but doing nothing, while the same people who keep on lying to us 1 year in, 1 year out are saying they are better. And you know, this is what Einstein described as madness, insanity, repeating the same thing all the time and expecting different results.
So you really believe in your chances this time round as a presidential candidate, that you do stand a chance of becoming the next president?
As a matter of fact, I think I'm probably the most competent compared to the other people called the two-horse races. If you look at even in terms of suitability, if you look in terms of baggage, I would like to challenge Omari here. If he can actually parade me, parade Uhuru Kenyatta, parade Raila Amolo Odinga, and parade Ekuru Aukot, and say, of these two guys, let's look at them even from their own individual and personal achievement, the journeys they have traveled as Kenyans to be able to be where they are, and say who can actually has the competence and suitability to lead this country. I think I do have a better chance to give this country the direction it deserves compared to people who have been failed experiments for the last 50 plus years. Okay, let's bring in Bwana Mutie. Bwana Mutie, do you believe in Bwana Ekuru Aukot's chances of actually getting to lead this country?
While he has all the democratic rights to contest for a political seat, first of all, I wish him well for endearing himself boldly to quest for this seat. It's not a small seat, and any man who actually comes out in the fold to claim that he has the capabilities, I think we can only wish him well. However, I just want to say that the idea of that force, or that sort of formation is not something new. And this is a popular sort of tradition across all the countries in where democracy thrives. If you go to America, of course, we know the Democrats and Republicans. Other countries, we have the Labour Party and all that. And that forces are always there. In fact, this has been a new concept that is actually taking a lot of shape in terms of political formations. In Malaysia, it's been appreciated, Japan, and also other countries. And therefore, for me, I think Daktari is within the realms of democracy to do that. And for me, I think within the Kenyan context, I must say that Daktari has not endeared himself. He has not come out, openly there to sell out his policies, his ideologies, and what he stands for. And Omar will not be forgiven for not mentioning the issue of idealism, which seems to be the propagation that Dr. Ekuru is actually thriving on in a better way. But owing to the nature of politics here in Kenya, Fred, I want to say that we have not matured to a level where we want to listen to idealists actually propagating good policies and ideologies in the fray, and we are not yet, we have not yet been cut from that umbilical cord that actually links us with the ethnicity and the coalescing alongside the personalities that we do adore along ethnic lines, and therefore to sever that kind of link of ethnicity, negative ethnicity actually cropping in politics is a tall order for us as a country. And therefore, for Dr. Ekuru to actually endear himself is just beginning to bring the ideas on the table, while he knows that there are so many factors that are really against that kind of that force. And I want to tell you for free, Daktari, you must be you have been on record actually bashing the government here for failing to do this and that. You have also been on record, as we are talking right now, having said that these are Siamese twins who cannot offer anything that Kenyans would want to see on the table. But I want to say that while you have those good ideas that you have been propagating, which is quite okay, I just want to challenge you why you have not actually been able to see how you can infuse your ideas to the government in waiting. And when we talk about government in waiting right now, Daktari, I must tell you that this is the NASA formation. I'm not propagating for NASA in any way, but as we are talking, there's government which is in place, and there's a government in waiting according to the popular belief.
You seem to have cracked up on Ekuru Aukot.
Just a second, I don't know how he has not infused or tried to infuse his good ideas, because NASA, as we are talking, Fred, is actually trying to harness their policies together. Their many manifestos to be one, and therefore I don't know how Fred, Ekuru, has not actually tried to see how he can also, infuse his ideologies to that platform and see whether they can have a better government in waiting.
Because I do understand even within this formation, NASA and Jubilee, there are idealists as well. Probably not the majority. There are more realists than idealists in those formations. But what Bwana Mutie mentioned, Bwana Ekuru Aukot, that yes, you do, it is within your democratic right. There are 16 candidates going for the presidency as independents. They're all within their right. You believe in your chances, but do you think the Kenyan voter is ready for Ngamia?
Yes, listen, I think the Kenyan voter is ready for anything and for anybody who can put issues on the table, like we are putting. At least now I recognize that we have a NASA sympathizer.
No.
Sure. No, nothing wrong with that.
I'm a neutral fella here.
It is still within your democratic right, But listen, I think Kenyans are ready for issue-based politics. Let me explain this way. You talked about tribal politics, which is actually what defines both NASA and Jubilee. Because for me, when I look at NASA, I see the question being asked, how do we get the Kambas on board? Let's bring Kalonzo Musyoka. How do we get the Luyas on board? Let's bring Mudavadi. You know the drill. How do we get a bit of Kalenjin? Let's bring Isaac Ruto as a last minute thing. Of course, the Luos are on board because Jacom is there. And the story goes on. On the other hand, of course, how do we bring the Kikuyus? Kamwana is there, Uhuru is there. How do we bring the Kalenjin? And then other guys. But then I want to ask Kenyans. Today, the price of unga is at about 150 something. How many people say, I want my tribe to buy me that unga?
And